Today we're gonna see what if every team's best and worst players swapped overalls. Couple notes on the video: no rookies from the most recent draft because we don't know their actual overalls yet. Also, we're gonna take the player with the highest depth trait when we need a tiebreaker. And finally, long snappers count. Okay, they're people too, so whatever position they're listed at, we're gonna upgrade them at that position. Now, first up, the Chicago Bears. We had to use a tiebreaker on them since DJ Moore was superstar dev, but Keenan Allen was X Factor. But now it's Tyson Bagent, the secret agent, up to a 91 overall, 92 with the morale boost. And Keenan Allen down to a 56. We had another tie on the Bengals, but Joe Burrow is only superstar dev. Meanwhile, Jamar Chase is X Factor. But we had to spin a wheel when it came to the worst player on the Bengals. It was between center Trey Hill or cornerback Jalen Davis, both 63 overall. And the wheel decided to go with Jalen Davis. So now Cincinnati has a 93 overall CB, but a 63 overall Jamar Chase. Now the bad news for Buffalo, they're gonna lose their 93 overall quarterback Josh Allen. But the good news is now they have a 93 overall Shane Buechele. Allen's down to a 53 overall, but they still have an elite quarterback. Broncos was a cut and dry decision. Pat Surtain by far their best player at a 95 overall. But now that title goes to their tight end, Nate Adkins, and they lose an elite cornerback. Surtain's down to a 61. Our first long snapper of the video is gonna take all the powers away from Myles Garrett and become a 98 overall. Charlie Hewlett, listed at tight end, is gonna lead the way for Cleveland, but Miles G is down to a 53. The Bucks are gonna lose one of the best tackles in the league. Tristan Wirfs was a 94 overall, but now Kyle Trask is gonna be their QB1, and he's their best player. Meanwhile, Wirfs is gonna ride the bench at a 60. The Cardinals' best player was easily Buda Baker at a 90, but this might actually be a good thing. Now their quarterback is their best player, Clayton Tune. However, now Buda Baker's down to a 62. The Chargers' best player was easily Derwin James at a 92, but now it's Josh Harris, the long snapper and tight end, and Derwin's all the way down to a 44. The Chiefs had the biggest spin of the video so far. There was a tie at the top. Both Mahomes and Kelsey were 99 overall, and they had the same depth trait, so we had to go to the wheel, and it landed on Travis Kelsey. So even though they lose an elite tight end, they also gain an elite tight end. James Winchester, their long snapper, listed at tight end, is gonna take the place of Kelsey, who's down to a 31. Gonna be a couple changes on the Indianapolis Colts offense. They're losing elite left guard Quentin Nelson, but they gain an elite quarterback, Sam Ehlinger. But now Quentin Nelson's down to a 56. We had to go back to the wheel for the Commanders. We had McLaurin and Jonathan Allen, both 89 overall with X Factor Dev. And the wheel decided to demote Scary Terry McLaurin and promote right tackle Trent Scott. But now Scary Terry is not so scary anymore. He's a 57 overall. Micah Parsons, best player on the Cowboys at a 98 overall. Cowboys take a hit on their front seven, or do they? Tyrus Wheat, left outside linebacker, now a 98 overall. So we'll see how much they miss Micah now that he's a 62. But I feel like we've all been living under a rock. There's a white quarterback in the league this whole time, Ethan Bonner. How have we not heard about him? Like, he's listed at cornerback on ESPN or on Wikipedia. I mean, shout out Cooper DeJean, but we had a white CB in the league this whole time, and now he's up to a 99. However, now Tyreek's down to a 61, and Miami takes a huge blow on offense. The Eagles got very lucky, man. They're gonna lose right tackle Lane Johnson, 96 overall, but they're gonna gain a right tackle, LaRaven Clark, and Lane goes down to a 55. The biggest tie of the video was the Atlanta Falcons. They had 5 guys, not the restaurant, no, 5 guys tied at a 62 overall for the lowest on their team. So of course we had to go to the wheel. Kyle Hinton, Jovan Gwynn, Avery Williams, Ryan Newsel, and Storm Norton, 4 of the 5 guys on the offensive line, and it ended up landing on Mr. Norton. So Jesse Bates III, 97 overall, is going to transfer that overall to Mr. Norton. And now the Falcons have an elite right tackle, but Jesse Bates is down to a 62. Even though the Niners are going to add an elite quarterback, I still don't think they would have done this swap, man. Christian McCaffrey, obviously, 99 overall. But now it's going to be Brandon Allen, QB1 for San Francisco. And McCaffrey's down to a 54. Man, this has to be bittersweet for San Fran. The Giants are going to change things up in their trenches. Dexter Lawrence, their best player, at a 95. He's going to swap places with Jimmy Morrissey, the center. Meanwhile, Dexter's down to a 59. The second Josh Allen to swap in this video is on the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was a 91 overall, but now CJ Beathard is their best player, and he's gonna take the spot of Trevor Lawrence at QB1, and Josh is down to a 57. If you guys don't like the video, it's gonna lead me to, you know, relapsing on the sauce, you know, drinking a lot of Hennessy. Oh, and you don't want that to happen, right? Mr. Gardner, 96 overall on the Jets, was their best player, but now that title belongs to the long snapper Thomas Hennessy, listed at tight end. And now Sauce is very sauceless at a 31 overall. The Lions are gonna lose Amon-Ra St. Brown, 95 overall. And now Nate Sudfeld turns into Nate Studfeld. He's now the QB1 for Detroit, but his wide receiver core gets a little weaker with Amon-Ra down to a 55. Packers, another team that might not love this swap. They lose elite CB Jair Alexander, 93. And they gain an elite quarterback, even though they arguably already have one. Sean Clifford up to a 93. Gonna step in front of Jordan Love, and now Jair's down to a 59. The Panthers, another team we had a spin for. They had two guys at a 62 overall. LeBron Ray, the right end, and tight end Jordan Matthews still have his jersey. I'm rooting for him to have a good season in Carolina, and that's who he actually landed on. So Derek Brown, 89 overall star, is gonna give all of his powers to Mr. Matthews. He's now tight end 1, and Derek Brown is down to the 60s. And then we had a streak of long snappers. First, the Patriots, Matthew Judon, 89 overall, is gonna give up his spot to Joe Cardona, new tight end 1 in New England. And now Judon has the lowest overall in the video at a 26. Meanwhile, the Raiders are gonna lose Max Crosby, 97 overall, and instead it's Jacob Bobenmoyer at tight end. So the Raiders have 3 startable tight ends, and they lose their best defensive player, Crosby, down to a 31. The Rams are gonna lose their CB1 Tre'Davious White, 90 overall, and yet another long snapper, Alex Ward, is gonna be their tight end 1, and Tre'Davious is down to the 20s as well. Now the Ravens definitely did not need this swap. They're gonna lose their QB Lamar Jackson, 98 overall, and they gain another elite tight end, Nick Moore, also a long snapper, and they will not have Lamar leading away at quarterback. He's a 37. Speaking of quarterback, the Saints' worst player was 1, and their best player was Demario Davis at a 92. But now that's Nathan Peterman's overall. He's the QB1 in New Orleans. If he wins the Super Bowl, man, I don't know. I might shave my head bald or something. Meanwhile, Demario's down to a 49. Seattle's best player was Tyler Lockett, 88 overall star. And now he swaps places with right end Matt Godel, and he becomes a 55. Steelers were the last team we had to spin a wheel for. They had a tie at the bottom between D-tackle Jacob Slade and QB Kyle Allen, both 61 overall. And I'm sure they wanted to land on the quarterback, but they ended up going with the D-tackle Mr. Slade. So TJ Watt, formerly 97 overall, is going to give that up to a fellow front 7 member. And now the captain is down to a 61. Another team that didn't really need this swap, man, the Houston Texans, going to lose Laramie Tunsil, 94 overall tackle, and gain a QB1 in Tim Boyle, which is going to move Stroud to the bench, and 55 overall Tunsil to the bench as well. The Titans are going to lose cornerback L'Jarius Sneed, 90 overall, and gain an elite long snapper instead, tight end Morgan Cox. L'Jarius is now a 28 overall. And last but certainly not least, Justin Jefferson, 99 overall, no more. He swaps places with long snapper slash tight end Andrew DePaula, and now Jay Jettis is only a 50 overall. The league has been flipped upside down, man. Let me know what your predictions are in the comments. I need 1 pick from the NFC and 1 from the AFC. This is a tough one to predict, man. A lot of teams now have 2 great tight ends. Some teams now have an elite QB1 or a great defensive player now. So, hey, anything could happen except Nathan Peterman winning the Super Bowl. I don't want to go bald. The Chiefs don't miss a beat. They get the 1 seed in the AFC. Ravens without Lamar go 12-5. Texans with Tim Boyle get the 3 seed. Dolphins without Tyreek go 11-6. Bills go 10-7 with Biokel. The Colts with Ellinger go 10-7 as well. And then the Jets with Hennessy get the last playoff spot. And then here are all the teams that missed out, man. The Raiders finish above 500 with 3 startable tight ends. Patriots go 2-15. Nathan Peterman and the Saints go 13-4. 1 seed in the NFC. I'm starting to get a little nervous. The Cowboys without Parsons go 12-5. 5. Lions with Studfeld go 11-6. Niners without McCaffrey also 11-6. Philadelphia, same exact record after swapping right tackle. Seahawks with an elite right end go 10-7. Buccaneers, same record with QB Kyle Trask. You gotta feel bad for the Packers, Cardinals, Falcons, and Commanders all finished above 500, but the NFC was a bloodbath. Giants finished 3-14. Here are the league leaders: Mahomes, most passing yards, Prescott, Bjokel, Joe Burr, and Nate Peterman in the top 5. A lot of quarterbacks threw for over 4,000. You had guys like Clifford, Bayesian squeak into the top 10. Brandon Allen, Clayton Tune, look at Studfeld, man. So many good seasons. Devin Leary, the rookie in Baltimore, stepped up and helped lead them to the playoffs. Bjokel had the most passing touchdowns. Mahomes was second. Burrow, Boyle, 34-3 ratio, nasty. Devin Leary, previously mentioned, man, he threw a lot of interceptions, but I'm sure he scrambled really well in that Ravens scheme. Clifford in the top 10 along with Peterman, Jaden Daniels, Tune, a lot of rookies, a lot of young quarterbacks stepping up. Wilson, too many interceptions. Here's everyone that threw at least, 14 touchdowns. Trask at the bottom. Joe Mixon with the most yards in the league on the ground. I don't think we had any running backs become the best player on their team. The closest we had was Avery Williams on the Falcons, but it ended up not landing on him. So this is pretty much everyone that's actually starting, and there's everyone that had 1,000 yards. Najee Harris, once again, top of the league for rushing touchdowns. He's up there almost every single sim. Jalen had a lot of rushing touchdowns. Ellinger with 8. Okay, look at him. Curtis Samuel, most receiving yards. He cooked with Shane Bjokel throwing him the football. Cup Lamb, Burton, and Higgins in the top 5. So even though they lost Jamar Chase, they still kept cooking. Look at Winchester, 100 for 1,100 yards, 15 receiving touchdowns, replacing Travis Kelce with ease. Rashee Rice also had 1,000 yards on the Chiefs. Trying to see anyone else, any of these long snappers, where they at? We made a lot of long snappers into high overalls, and so far I'm not seeing enough of them. Winchester's the only one up there that I'm seeing. Come on. Okay, there we go. Hennessy, 81 catches. Any other long snappers that we made elite? Josh Harris, 74 for 782, 3 touchdowns. Come on, give me at least one more. Okay, Morgan Cox on the Titans, 68 for 625 and 4 tutties. Most receiving touchdowns went to Ayuk, Burton, Winchester, Samuel, Shakir Tolbert. A lot of guys tied for that 5th and final spot in terms of receiving tutties. Look at Nick Moore on the Baltimore Ravens, 9 touchdowns. He was up there. Now, as for defense, we had a lot of guys on defense as well. Quincy Williams with the most tackles. Chris Jones, Hayward, Buckner, Armstead, and Dalvin Tomlinson with the most tackles for a loss. And as for sacks, Aiden Hutchinson almost had 10 more than second place Khalil Mack. Will we see any of our guys? Yes, Tyrus Wheat, who replaced Micah Parsons on the Cowboys. He cooked. DeMarcus Lawrence, his teammate, was also very high up there on the leaderboard. And then Derek Stingley Jr. had the most INTs. MVP goes to Shane Bjokel on the Buffalo Bills. That has to hurt if you're Josh Allen. In all them years he played at an elite level, and Bjokel replaces you and then wins MVP. That's crazy, man. Tim Boyle in the top 5. Peterman in the top 10. Same with Clifford, Tune, and Allen. OPOY goes to Mixon. In the AFC, DPOY to Mack. In the NFC, it goes to Jalen Hurts. DPOY to Hutchinson. Best QB, Hurts. Best running back, Jacobs. Best wide receiver, Ayuk. In the AFC was Bjokel at QB, Mixon at running back, and Burton at wide receiver. Best O lineman, Trey Smith. His teammate wins best D lineman, Chris Jones. Linebacker goes to Khalil Mack. Stingley Jr. wins best DB. And in the NFC, Elgton Jenkins wins best O lineman, Hutchinson. Best D lineman, Tyrus Wheat. Best linebacker, and AJ Terrell, best DB. So here's the playoff bracket. The Saints and Chiefs with Peterman and Winchester. They get the 1 seed. Let me know if a prediction is still alive. If not, make a new one right now. I'll give you some time. We have Tyrus Wheat and the Cowboys taking on Nick Moore and the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. Mahomes lost to Devin Leary and the Ravens. The rookie didn't really play that well. 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. It was Derrick Henry who carried them. Let's be honest. I mean, Leary did have a rushing touchdown, but it was Henry who dragged them to the Super Bowl. On the other side, man, it was Nathan Peterman, 1 game away. I promise. You know what? Let me go show it, just so you guys know there's no force win nothing. Trust me, I don't mind being bald if I had to be. I could pull off the Kobe look. Don't play with me. Okay, look at that. No force win. Saints lost by 6 points. 600 yards for the Cowboys, 500 for the Saints. So if Dallas wants to win, they gonna have to tighten up that defense. Peterman, low-key cooked. 420. The Prescott was a little bit better, man. If they can put up that performance in the Super Bowl, they might not have to stop anyone. She'll be a good one. Oh my goodness, 248 yards receiving. passing. 2 touchdowns for CeeDee Lamb. I think that might be like a playoff record, or close to it. First up on offense, Devin Leary. The 6th round pick, I gave him like a low 70 overall. Now he ran a 4.7 640, which is not the fastest, but it's not slow by any means. And he's producing in this Ravens playbook. Look at him on the read option, getting a first down on the ground. Leary dropping back to pass. Gonna take off again. This time he's gonna fumble the football. One more look at it. Let's see if his body was down before he coughed it up. Yeah, I think his knee hit the ground first, so they're going to retain possession. A little bit of a shaky start for the Ravens. Henry breaking tackles, though. This is why he's the king. Henry off to the races. No one's going to touch him. Ravens strike first in this one. Now it's Mr. Prescott and the Cowboys offense. Zeke in the backfield. CeeDee Lamb with the first reception of the game for them. They're down in 4, though. A couple plays later, Ravens send 4. Dak, bottom of the screen, finds a wide open Ferguson to move the chains. Here's Zeke Elliott's first carry of the game. He's gonna get a solid 9 yards. Now they come on the I form. CeeDee buys lonesome at the bottom. Play action. Dak going downfield to a wide open CeeDee. Trips to the left. Dak with all kinds of time. Oh, he's gonna throw a pick. Bad decision. That's the rookie Nate Wiggins, cornerback for the Ravens. Huge play. We have yet to see Devin Leary pass the ball until now, and he's going downfield to a wide open Aguilar. Just like that, the Ravens are back in scoring range. Very next play, Derrick Henry picking up where he left off. He's gonna get them down inside the 10. First and goal for Baltimore. Read option, Leary. Touchdown. Ravens off to a blistering start. Ravens get a quick stop on defense, and we finally see the player that they swapped with Lamar Jackson. Nick Moore, the long snapper, get his first reception, and later on in the drive, Justin Tucker gonna give them a 17-0 lead. Cowboys finally get on the board late in the second quarter. Dak's gonna find Brandon Cooks. It's 17-7. Cowboys now have the football in half number 2. Dak Prescott in the zone, and he's gonna stay there after throwing another laser to Brandon Cooks, who has the speed to take it the distance. Cowboys are going to cut the deficit to 3 after scoring 14 unanswered. The Ravens get the ball back, and Leary is going to go to the other elite tight end on his team, Mark Andrews, to put them back up 2 possessions. Last chance for the Cowboys. They have to get this first down, and they're not able to do it. So the Ravens take over, and Henry's in the zone. You're not taking him down on the first sign of contact. This one's all but over. Baltimore wins the Super Bowl after swapping Lamar Jackson with their long snapper / tight end Nick Moore. Thank you guys for watching the video. Destroy the like button if you haven't already, man. Can we get to 1,000 likes? I know we can do it, man. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day.